But it's not something I have done for the adventure of it. I have done it because I felt God wanted me to, and He has helped me through it. And I've learned a lot. I've been blessed a lot. So my second stone would be, and I related to this verse, I found it interesting in the bulletin this morning that you had the passage which talked about God's promise to Abraham, or to actually Mr. Jacob, that he would bring him back to this place. God gave me that verse. When I went home for my first furlough, I had some physical problems that I wasn't sure I would be able to return. And God gave me that verse before I left the Philippines, that He would bring me back. And through the difficulties we face, actually, my stones of remembrance are right here in my Bible. Those times that I went through difficulties, those times that I faced challenges, God gave me a verse, I wrote it down. And so when I look back at my Bible, and even on some of the verses as I leaf through my Bible, I have a little notation there, the year and the reason, or the place wherever that was. And it brings back to my mind that God has been my help. The song, Our God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come. He is our help. He is our strength. And I like to stand before you this morning and say, He has been faithful. Doesn't mean I haven't gone through difficulties. I've gone through some very difficult things, because anytime we go into enemy territory, you can expect to get shot at. Not physically shot, but spiritually speaking. Especially when you go into church planting, you're going into enemy territory. And you're wanting to claim that territory for the Lord. And there's going to be a battle. And you're going to be shot at. One of the benefits of lung ministry is being able to see some of the results of our labors. Psalm 126, verse 6 is also a verse which I have found helpful. And I did a little mark on this one. Psalm 126, verse 6. It's a good one to remember when you're struggling. He who goes out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with him. Sometimes there's crying in ministry because your heart aches for people who you minister to and with, who are going through great struggles. When I came home on my first furlough, I felt, what do I have to show for what I've done? And I felt it was very little. And so as I went back for my second term of service, I prayed especially that the Lord would give me at least one person. I went back in October and I prayed, Lord, give me at least one person who will accept you before Christmas. So that's between October and December. I was asking for at least one person. And I started especially ministering to the two young ladies that worked in our home. They were cousins. And before Christmas, both of them accepted the Lord. And they were the first people in that village to ever be baptized as a Protestant Christian. So you see, we were working in enemy territory. And I like to say that one of the young ladies was at that time 15 years old. At the age of 13, her mother left home, left her and her younger brother, left her husband, and went off with another man. And that was very hard for this 13-year-old because she felt rejected by her mother. She had no idea where her mother was for several years. And as she came to live in my home, she struggled with how could God love her? How could somebody else, how could I love her if her own mother had left her? And when she turned 16, one of the young men in the community wanted to marry her. They have a little bit different customs over there about marriage. And she really liked this guy, and I think she probably would have eventually married him if he had held off, but he was just so insistent. And he was staying with her aunt, and her aunt, over there, the family has a lot of influence, a lot more than they do here, on what you do. And so the aunt and uncle were very pro wanting her to marry him, because, you know, her mother was gone, and who did she have? And, but she didn't want to marry him. Thankfully, her dad, who lived down on the coast, stood behind her and said the decision was hers. If she didn't want to marry, he wouldn't force her to. This guy went to court his dad, her dad. He went down there, he did nice things for her dad. Her dad had bad rheumatoid arthritis, he had TB, he was often sickly. And so this guy goes and he buys things and he does things around the house and he gets water and all the things he thinks will get him in the good graces of Dad, but it didn't work. And the dad told me, don't ever leave her alone. So when I went to the city to buy my food for the month or do whatever errands I had to do, I had to take her with me. My work wasn't being done at home because she had to go with me. If she went to see her dad, I had to go with her because he feared for her life. And the extreme part that this man did, he came to our home one night, and when she heard his voice, she was washing dishes, and when she heard his voice, she went out the back door. We lived on the second floor. She went out to the outhouse and locked the door. I greeted him at the door, and he said, well, I'm going to this city far away, and I haven't been able to say goodbye to her, and so I want to say goodbye to her. So I went out there and I said, this is what he said. She said, my grandmother tells me that he's got a knife. And she said, I won't talk to him unless he gives you the knife. So I went back and I said to him, she said she will only talk to you if you give me the knife that you got. He looked at me a little bit funny, and then he reached down into his sock and pulled out a dagger, about that long. His intentions were not good. That was such an insult in that culture for a man to ever come into a house, especially where there were only women, with a knife. I was very angry because of what he had done, but I didn't show my emotions. I went back and said to her, he has given me the knife. You said you would talk to him if he gave me the knife. She said, I will only talk to him if you were there. So I said, okay. She came. I sat sort of between them. He was over here, she was a little behind me. And he started talking to her nicely, and then he said, well, the only reason I wanted to marry you was because of what your mother did. And he went on like that, insulting her, and I said, wait a minute.